during Brock Lesnar and CM Punk's match, I absolutely had to message someone because I don't think I've ever enjoyed a match like that in so long that by the time I got to the Cena Bryan match, in my head, I was already like, this match is not going to top that one. So I was probably
How
comparing
could you,
it because
though?
to me, I know it was crazy, but that match between Brock Lesnar and CM Punk reminded me why I love wrestling. Wrestling doesn't always have to be the chain wrestling. It doesn't have to be submission wrestling. It doesn't have to be high flying. It can be all of the above.
Yeah.
And from the second that match started, you and I were talking about this, Ryan, that when you see a Brock Lesnar match, there's no other guy in the company or any other place, I think, that can have a Brock Lesnar match. In
I
the way that
love
he
Brock
has this
Lesnar.
presence.
I
know,
love him.
and it
Just,
made me miss
he
him.
beats the crap out of people. Like, nobody... Like, CM Punk just got the crap beaten out of him in the first couple minutes there. Just thrown around, beat up. It was... I love watching Brock Lesnar wrestle slash fight slash whatever you want to call it. It's great. It's great.
And I think I mentioned to you when I was talking about this, during the pay-per-view, was that Brock brings a unique element to his matches. His matches will always feel different than, any other match. It always feels more like a fight than a wrestling match. And, that match was absolutely, it was brutal. And, and it stood out as a match, and the match of the night, and nothing was gonna top it. I think Bryan and Cena did an excellent match, and I take nothing away from it. It's just it wasn't gonna top that match.
There was a post on Reddit that I wanted to share with you guys. I'm just gonna paraphrase, but a lot of people are saying, and I agree, John Cena is not a bad wrestler at all. I think that when he has to bring his A game, he brings it and then some. But the guy on Reddit was talking about, I don't remember his username, he mentioned that Cena is an amazing wrestler, but that he doesn't really pull out the best in other guys. Because his best matches are, Dana Bryan, Shawn Michaels, Triple H.
CM Punk.
All these guys... Exactly, CM Punk. I mean, it's all these guys that can definitely bring it to the table, and then Cena sort of steps up his game. But then there's been other matches, not so much recently because he's consistently been with these, high caliber guys.
Well, like,
But
would
whenever
you
see
say
him
the
in,
main
like,
event of
normal
the
Raw
last two
matches-
WrestleManias, for example?
Exactly. Like, to me, The Rock and Cena are two perfect examples that when they're with those guys, when you're with a Shawn Michaels, The Rock, when you're with a Stone Cold, you make magic. But they're two guys that need to complement something. They need to be with something. And when they're together, to me, it could not be any duller.
Yeah. Some people are like that, though. They need to get that spunk brought out of them.
Would you say then Cena is someone, he can hang with the best and they can bring out the best in him, but where it kind of stops with Cena is that he can't take someone and elevate them. He can only be elevated by stronger talent.
I think he's the type of guy that he looks for, what does that unique guy have in him? Like Dana Bryan, he's the shorter guy, so I can definitely overpower him. So when he does this to me, it's going to mean a lot more. With Shawn Michaels, here's the guy that always gets beat down, comes back. With Triple H, you have, the powerhouse guy. With Brock Lesnar last year, which is something I want you guys to see. How would you compare John Cena versus Brock Lesnar and Brock Lesnar versus CM Punk? I think that's a great example. I think that the Brock Lesnar CM Punk match was absolutely better than the Cena one because to me the ending meant so much. When Cena beat Brock Lesnar, to me it was kind of like, Brock Lesnar, he just came back. But with CM Punk, when he beat him, I was like, yes, that is the beast. The beast is the best.
No,
Well,
I
and it was
agree
also-
with that. Go ahead, Ryan.
It was also probably one of the worst decisions ever to have Brock Lesnar lose at Extreme Rules that year.
Yeah, you're not wrong about that. But another Brock Lesnar comparison we could do is his match at last year's SummerSlam versus Triple H. I mean,
Triple H.
yeah, Triple H. when he still had his lustrous hair, I might add you, rest in peace. Like, that whole match just seemed like Brock Lesnar and Triple H both trying to make themselves look good in the ring, like having a good couple spots, the whole no disqualification thing. And, like, it wasn't a half-bad match, but with Punk and Lesnar, it seemed like Punk was trying to have a good match more than making himself look good, and which in turn made themselves look better. Same with Brock Lesnar. And do you guys agree, disagree?
How I felt about that match last year was just, it's like I was trying so hard to get into it and it just wasn't happening. Like, I really wanted to like it, but I didn't really care either way. I wasn't crazy well, I was somewhat excited about their feud. I probably would have liked to see Brock with one of the newer guys. And it's just I couldn't get into it. I think the only match that I really enjoyed was probably their cage match, at this year's Extreme Rules. The SummerSlam match, I just feel like it didn't click.
As I'm sitting here thinking about that SummerSlam match, there's a line that comes to my head when Triple H went to Brock Lesnar. This is the SummerSlam match where he said, "You're not in the UFC anymore. This is my world," or "This is my ring, bitch," or whatever he said. Like, it kind of sums up that match and their feud all into a little bubble. And as far as their Extreme Rules match goes, I have to disagree with you, because I think Brock looked really weak in that match. Like, he just barely got a victory victory over Triple H, and Paul Heyman had to help him with that. Like, he wasn't very beastly by the end of that at all.